Welcome back to the Housewives News Network. I am your host, Taylor J. You can follow me on social media and you can check that out by looking at the bottom of your screen. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video so that we can stay connected and keep in touch, especially as we talk about all things Bravo as it relates to the Real Housewives. And if you haven't noticed or heard, we're getting ready to be ushered into a whole new wave of Real Housewives content. We had the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills coming up this week, this Wednesday, October 25th. Then on November 1st, we're getting the Real Housewives of Miami. They're going from Peacock to Bravo. And then we have the Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine airing on the same night. That's going to be Sunday, November 5th. And I am so excited to just see our girls. And these are some of my favorite clusters of Bravo shows. Potomac, especially because I'm from the DMV. So, watching the Potomac always makes me feel like a sense of home because I don't live there right now. And, Beverly Hills. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. I'm excited to get back into just, the wealth and the glam and all that they bring. Also, they have some very interesting storylines that are ahead. Miami, they also bring the glam, they also bring the drama, they also bring the wealth, but their stories I feel like are going to be the most intense, especially Gertie. Our hearts go out to her as she is dealing with cancer. And also Married to Medicine. We know the girls bringing on Married to Medicine down in the A, our favorite doctors, now paging all of them. And Phaedra, she's going to be on there. And it's also going to be interesting, too, because Quad's ex-husband, Dr. G, is going to be on there with his new wife, with Quad in the mix, too. So that's going to be something to see. But the reason why I am here today is just to discuss a lot of what we've been seeing kind of circulating on social media and in the media in general. And that is what Bethenny Frankel has coined as the reality reckoning. There has been talks, and it goes way back to Nene Leakes. She filed a lawsuit against Bravo, and she has made claims of unfair treatment, of racism, and things of that nature. And then Bethenny kind of came on board a little later with her own situation, basically saying that these reality stars need to have a union to protect them. There's, claims about just the way that the housewives are treated, the things that they're being told to do that can be damaging to them. One of those is that they drink a lot and things of that nature. Recently, Bethenny and Nene, they did a interview together on Bethenny's Just Be podcast. And Nene got a little bit into the lawsuit and her grievances with the Bravo network. And being someone that works in media myself, I work in media in a different realm than reality television or television programming in that sense. I could really identify with some of the things that Nene was talking about, especially as it relates to unfair treatment toward Black women. So there is a place where I used to work recently, honestly, and they are facing 3 discrimination lawsuits at one time, all within the same cluster of time. And it's claims about things such as unfair treatment, or 2 of which is, counterparts of another race or ethnicity being treated differently than them, being demoted or being moved down or not being able to act in their actual position because of these discriminatory practices. Another thing that Nene had mentioned was that there was a point in time where she was getting less episodes on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she was told by network executives that she was quote unquote unhappy. And that is something that I have experienced in one of my previous jobs, where I wanted to do more, where I wanted to be more active, where I wanted to be more present in my position, but wasn't really getting those opportunities. And the reasoning that was told to a representative of mine was that I was quote unquote not happy. And that's why I wasn't getting more. And it can be very frustrating, especially with people, or you knowing what you want to do, you knowing what you want to give and wanting to give those things. But the tough part about the media business is that it's very subjective. A lot of the people who are making decisions, the bosses and stuff, they want certain looks, they want certain people, they want certain things. And if they feel like you don't fit into that mold, then, sorry, we're going to use the next person. But I mean, you're employed, so we have to use you in some capacity. And they try to use that as ways to cover their tracks. And so, what I have experienced in my own world working in media, I can definitely understand where Nene is coming from when it comes to that, and just how frustrating it can be. And it's very bold, and I commend her, and even the folks who I know personally who are standing up for themselves in this way, or speaking out, because these things need to be brought to the forefront. We never really know what's going on behind the scenes, but not only will it create change for you as an individual, but it can create change as a whole. So, and even Bethenny, speaking up about getting this union and trying to protect the women a little bit more as it pertains to, whatever production decides to do, whatever executives decide to do. I know a long time ago, it was because of Bethenny that they have this clause now where Bravo will not get 100% of, or I don't know if it's either 100% or like not much of a cut from the businesses that the women start based on them being under this Bravo contract. Because we've seen so many housewives who have started businesses, and I guess it's called the Bethenny Clause, and she created some protections as it relates to that, so that the women can reap the benefits of some of the things that they have done by way of being part of this platform, which is a huge thing. So, I'm glad that this is happening. I'm glad that things are being said, but at the same time, it's bittersweet, because it's like, well, I hope that it doesn't destroy too much of what we enjoy, because I have been watching Bravo programming for many years, and not just myself, my family. So like my mother, my grandmother, we bond, we kiki over housewives shows. And also some of my best friends, like this is what we do. This is one of the ways that we bond. And even with my experiences in my own professional life, lawsuits come, claims are made, and it doesn't necessarily knock the whole house down, but big changes could be coming. There is word spreading around that there is an article done by Vanity Fair that's supposed to come out and do a bit of an expose about what's going on with Bravo. Reports are saying that a reporter interviewed housewives over 6 months, different housewives, just about what their experiences have been. There's a lawsuit right now from Ultimate Girls Trip 2, when they were in the Berkshires and they were with Dorinda. The butler, Marco, he has named Phaedra and Brandi Glanville for, harassing him while they were doing that. And he says that Phaedra touched his butt and Brandi ripped off his shirt, and it made him uncomfortable. And he also talked about how the women were just really heavily under the influence of alcohol, and it may be that production encouraged that. These are his claims that he made. And I mean, we have seen the way that alcohol has impacted the housewives. We've seen it with Dorinda Medley and Luann from New York. We've seen it most recently with Shannon Bedore and the Housewives of Orange County, her getting a DUI. Gina from Orange County, she had also gotten a DUI. It's really interesting, to say the least. And we know that, production has to move the story along, and they may give ladies directions. We don't really know what they're exactly being told, but if this expose comes out from Vanity Fair, I think we might get more insight. But I do think that big changes are on the way when it comes to the way the Housewives shows are done. And I think that it's a welcome change, especially if it means a difference in treatment. Nene would say that she felt like white housewives get treated differently than Black housewives, especially when it comes to violent acts that have happened on episodes, the throwing of glasses and, just pulling of ponytails, all things that we've seen, And then on the other hand, she believes that the Black women are judged more harshly. She also used an example about how all the women on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, except for Kim Zolciak, have had to go on cash trips. And Kim never went on a cash trip, was never forced to go on one. And later, she gets her own spinoff, which, doesn't exist anymore. And, she's saying because of that, they weren't treated the same, or that there were um, alleged pay disparities between her and Bethenny Frankel. So, and these are real life issues that are seen not just in the Housewives universe or the Bravo universe, but in the corporate world. There's just so many disparities when it comes to just the differences in the ways that people are treated. And like I mentioned, it's something that I have experienced, and I do have plans to share that more as I go along in my career, because I want to make sure that those who are coming behind me are prepared for what could potentially be exposed to them, but also kind of sounding the alarm to make that change so that things can be better improved. So I just want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below. You can @ me on Twitter, DM me on Instagram, whatever you want to do. Again, my social channels are down at the bottom. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video. I'm so excited to start recapping the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills this week, and then getting into the rest of our ladies later on in the coming weeks. And I am just ready to kiki it up with you guys. So I'll see you soon.